welcome to my channel. My name's Dawn, I'm the Reclusive Crafter, and today is Scrap Busting Saturday. So on Wednesday I did a little bit about no wasting anything, and I went through how to store various bits and pieces of scrap from projects that you've been working on. And from that, I've managed to achieve quite a bit. And today we're going to be looking at how to make little clusters made out of your strip scraps that you have, and you know what we can actually do with those. Now you would think that that's actually scrap busting, but this is stash busting. So I've also pulled out a lot of little bits and pieces that I've got in the way of ephemera, and no, they're not ephemera, they're embellishments, sorry. And I pulled out some of these that I can add into some of these clusters that I want to put together. So that's what we're going to be playing with today. So this is what I've produced up until now. So these are literally just little scraps out of my scrap pocket, which I've embellished with some of the embellishments out of my drawer, and I've just added in a little label. There's that one. I mean, these are so cute, they're really nice, and once you've made them you can use them as tucks or just embellishing a page. If you've got a plain page and you think you need something to add to it, these can just embellish the page. And like I say, you can either use them as side tucks, up tucks, down tucks, whatever you want to do with them. So that's what we're going to be working on today. So I'm going to get those out of the way because those are the ones that I've done just to show you what we're going to be playing with today. So I'll pop those out of the way for now, and I'm going to look at what embellishments I've got that I want to use. I think those are really cute, to be honest with you. The bike maybe is a little bit too big, but these little bits here, let me take them out of the cellophane because I am aware that it blinds the camera and you can't really see things very well. So there we go. So that's what we're going to be working with initially, but I've also got these which I think are quite good fun. I don't know what you call these, to be honest with you, and I've lost the thing that actually tells you, but they're quite fun to put on little embellishments as well. So I want to try some of those as well as knock everything over. And then I've got these as well, which I think are really cute, very autumnal even. And yeah, we're going to see if we can maybe use some of those as well when we're now well into autumn. So these would be quite a nice little embellishment, although I hadn't realised actually they're all connected. So we'll see what we can do with those anyway. So let's have a look and see what we've got. This is my little goodie box. So I want to play with these first. So I'm going to be looking for pinks. So you can't get a lot more pink than that. So we'll use that. And I'm just going to have a look through to see if there's anything that will kind of, I only want a vague colour scheme. I don't really want anything that's going to match exactly. You see that there picks up what's in there, as does that. That's probably a bit too wide, to be honest, but I'm sure I've got more of those in here that I can make use of. That's lovely, that could be used. The pink could definitely be used, and we've got that one there that can be used, and that one. Oh, we've got these as well, they're pretty, aren't they? We'll use some of those, and that one, and we've got a thinner little one there, and what else have we got? Do you know, I'm really chuffed that I've actually got some of this organising done, because it really has opened my eyes to what I've got that I can make use of, which is lovely. I mean, all of this is all like pinky stuff, that can be utilised with these bits and pieces. If I hadn't have done this exercise, do you know what, these would have been sat in here forever and a day, not getting used, and I think that's such a shame. So yeah, we're on a winner already, because in just a few minutes I've managed to pull out enough little bits there, probably to do at least 4 if not 5 little embellishments. So let's have a look and see what we've got. They're all very lovely, aren't they? And I think they all go with those little embellishments really nicely. So without further ado, I think this one, to be honest, I'm going to pop that one back in the box, because I just think that one's a little bit too wide to be playing with at this stage. So I am going to have a look at these ones. I'd really like to use that. And actually what I'm going to do, I'm just going to trim this up, because I really want to use this one. But I'm just going to trim it up to make it a little bit more usable. And I don't normally do fussy cutting on camera, but just as a heads up for you guys, if you do fussy cutting, these, I can't recommend them enough. I'm not affiliated with anybody or anything, except Scrimping Mummy, of course. I'm one of her design team. But these are Fiskars fussy cutting scissors, and I only bought them a short while ago. They are absolutely a game changer. So if you're looking for some fussy cutting scissors and you've not found any that suit you, give these a try. They're not terribly expensive, but they are absolutely worth their weight in gold. I would absolutely recommend them. So yeah, bear that in mind. Maybe put them on your Christmas list, and get hubby or somebody to treat you to a pair, because they are blooming marvellous, to be perfectly honest. I absolutely love them. There we go. Right, so we've got that. So that's going to be my base. And I think because we've got the bow here, oh, to be honest, it doesn't really make any odds. I was going to say it can go horizontally across the page, but actually it could go vertical as well. So let's have a look and see what we can do with this. So this is lovely. I might pop that on there. Although I don't really want that as wide as that. So I'm just going to cut this in half. There we go. I just want to make a couple of strips out of that one. Ooh, that's my trimmer blade just fallen out. There we go. And I think there was another one, this one. I'm just going to halve that one as well, purely because when you're doing these, they don't actually need to be that wide, to be honest with you. You can make beautiful embellishments with relatively thin items, which is lovely. So I actually want to use this one here, and I'm going to put that one on there. I'm going to make that a little bit longer. So we're going to put that on there and bring out the old trusty art glitter glue. Pop a little bit of glue along there. And we're going to pop that about there, I think. Now this that I cut out originally, this piece, is actually from a birthday card that I cut off, and it's quite thick. So all of the bits that I'm adding to it, I'm adding on top rather than, although I'm saying that, I might add a piece underneath. And then that piece, I want to cut that about there. I'm going to put that about there. And again, there is no right or wrong way to do this. It's whatever floats your boat, really. Go with the flow. Do what you feel looks right. I've seen people make these previously and they're quite precise about what they're looking for, what they're doing. Sometimes the nicest things can be produced if you just add things as it feels right to do so. See, that looks nice there, although will it look nicer with the edging? And actually I'm going to put a little bit of ink. If I grab my ink pad, I'm going to put a little bit of ink just down that raw side. This is one, I had this to hand anyway because I was using this on something that I was working on before, which I haven't shown you guys yet. So that makes that quite useful. You see, that's lovely, isn't it? So we will pop that on there for now, so I don't really need that all out all the time. Right, I was just checking that we're in shot, and we are. I don't really want that quite as long as that, so I'm going to take that off about there. And then we're going to glue this down here. So that one, where was I putting that? There. Maybe a bit further down. And like I say, just play around with these little bits and pieces as you want to. I'm going to cut that about there because I don't really want it to be any longer than that. Okay, so that's that little piece. And then I think, so this bit is actually double-sided. I was just thinking that might look nice to add a little bit of contrast on the green there. Quite like that. And I'm going to take that to about there, I reckon. And then pop a little bit of glue on there, just on that side, just to tack it on. Hope you've all had a good week. I'm actually recording this before Saturday, so I don't know what my week's been like yet. They're all pretty much of a muchness, to be fair, but there we go. So that's that one. And then I said that that bike would be a bit too big, but actually I quite like that on there. I wonder, oh, I see, those little baskets and things are all attached. That's cute. I'm going to use this. I'm going to take it out of my stash and I'm going to use it. And then that will make a lovely little tuck spot. I'm going to put that absolutely central on there. Oh, how cute does that look? That's really nice. I'm just going to pop a little bit more glue down here just to hold this in place. There we go. That's gorgeous. Love that. That's really pretty. So the only thing that I would potentially add to this might be just a tiny little word or something, but we'll see. So let's put that one to one side for now. So that's one done. And then we've got these little bags that we can still use up. So let's have a look and see what we can do. I'm going to use this as my base. I don't really want the blue, and I actually think the base is too long anyway. How long is the base, just out of interest? So it's actually 8 inches. So for a tuck, that's probably a bit too long, to be fair. So I'm going to take that off about there. Move that over there out of the way. And now I'm going to use that piece as my base. We've got this lovely little serrated edge that I used on Diary of a Lady, it was. And I am going to, do I want that on top or underneath? I think that looks nice underneath, doesn't it? So that's where we're going to go with that. And clearly this was added to something else and I changed my mind because I've got the remnants of the glue on there, but that doesn't matter at all. The fact of the matter is I'm using it and it's not going to waste, which is great. And I've just put the glue on the wrong side because I'm talking and not thinking. There we go. Let's try that one again. Let's pop the glue on this side. You see, that's why I go quiet when I'm doing things, because I can't think and talk at the same time. Oh, dear me. There we go. I'm going to pop that on there. Lovely. That's very pretty, isn't it? Yeah, Jenny from Jenny's Crafty Corner will be pleased that I'm using pink. And then do I want that one down the centre there? What's on the other side of that? Yeah, we'll go with them. We'll go with the dots. We'll put the little dots down the centre. I love doing these. It's just the randomness of doing it. Oh, that's shifted a little bit, doesn't it? It's just the randomness of doing them. There is a little bit of thought goes into it, but these are really nice just to do a little bit of crafting that you don't have to do a lot of thinking about, which is lovely. And I'm just thinking, actually, do I want a little bit of contrast on there? And I think I do, so I think I might use the green. That's quite nice, like that. But again, I don't want to go any longer than I've gone already on the base piece. So I'm just going to cut that down, pop that on there. And I'm not doing, apart from that little bit of edging that I did on the other one with the pink, because it had that raw edge, I'm not doing any distressing on these. I'm literally just going with the flow of these. And I have found the optimum number of strips tends to be about 5, roughly. You can use more or less, but I am finding that 5, when I'm putting these together, gives you quite a nice look. I think that's the word I'm looking for. I'm going to go with that on there. So that's that one. And I'm going to pop that about centrally there, I think. Okay, so that one's a little bit more uniform than I've done my other ones, but even so, I still quite like that. I'm just going to get that little bit off of there. There we go. So that's another one. And what do we want to put on there? I think that little one. Actually, because I've used this green, I'm going to go with this little guy on here, because I think, oh look, that's beautiful. And actually those little flowers there go really well with those flowers there. Funny how a plan comes together, isn't it? And do I want it on there straight, or do I want it at an angle? I must admit, I'm very much an angle person. I don't like things straight all the time. So I'm going to pop that roughly about centre on there, and then that's going to be a little side tuck. Beautiful, very pretty. So that's number 2 done. You see how quick and easy they are to do. So simple. And now this one, I'm going to start with this one being a little bit shorter, I think, and then we'll build on it. That one's a little bit misshapen, which actually it doesn't matter, but on this occasion I'm going to change it up a little bit. I'm going to pop that on there, so I'm going to glue this side down here. And then pop that on there. These were the cards or the paper that I used on the ephemera purse that I did. If you haven't seen that video, pop along and have a look at it. It was quite a nice little project that I did. I made a little purse out of paper, which seemed to go down very well and people enjoyed. So if you haven't seen it, pop along and take a look. I'm going to pop this one on here. I think I used this on the same project as well, this one. Actually, I've just put that there, and I wished I'd put it higher up now, but that'll be okay. It'll be okay. There is no right or wrong. I've run out of bits that I want. Oh, I've got that bit there. Maybe I'll use that there. Let's do. Maybe I'll bring that in there. I want to try and make it a little bit kind of haphazard, so that we're not all the same length on everything. And then we're going to go down here, probably to about there. This is all guesswork. I wanted that down there, didn't I? Maybe not that far down, maybe about there. Okay. And now I want something a little bit of a contrast on it. That's maybe too much of a contrast. What have we got on the flip sides of these? Anything that I could make use of? Not really. So let me have a look and see what I've got that will contrast. Oh, there we go. That will contrast but still look nice because it's still got the pinks in. Now then, just wondering if I want that to go at the back or whether I want to cut a strip off it to go down the front. I'm going to cut a strip off it and go down the front. I just want to have a look and see what that looks like. And if I don't like it, I can always go with the other option and use it at the back. To use those butterflies actually if it's going down the front, so I might divide this into 3 actually. Let's see, I'm going to cut that there, which will give me another piece, and then I'm going to, I don't want it too wide, there. Let's have a look and see what that looks like. Pop that down there. That looks okay, doesn't it? Where do we want to go with this? About there? I think so. I'm going to cut that off about there. And yep, okay, we're good with that. Gonna splodge a bit of glue across there, and then we're going to come in about there, just to give a few little definitions of depth. And then we've got there we go. Okay, I'm happy with that. And now out of these, that's beautiful. I think I'm going to go with this one. And do I want that across that way, or do I want it up that way? I'm going to put that there. I'm not going to lie, I wasn't overly keen on that gap there, so I'm going to put that there, and then I'm going to put a bit of wordage, I think, on there. So that's that one done for now until we do the wording. And then I've got one more of these little pink ones, so I am going to make the final one in pink. And we will use this one. Just want to check my sizing. It's just a little bit, mind you, we could use it as a belly band, I guess. Maybe. Let's just see. So I quite like that there. I'm going to cut that one off there and put that one here. So you can see how easy these are to throw together. You could put a lot of thought into this, or like I say, it's just something you can sit and do one night while you're watching the telly. You don't have to spend an awful lot of time thinking about it. That's that one. And going to put that one on there. Or do I want it underneath? I think I prefer it on top, honestly. So I'm going to pop that one on there. That's that one. What's that? That's blue, and I've got that odd pink there. I've got this one. And I've got that one. I might bring that one in there. In actual fact, I'm kind of thinking I might just cut this one down actually and use it as a shorter one. I'm thinking I might cut this one down here. and then I can use that on another one. Quite like that, actually. That's quite nice. Where do we want? I want something with a little bit of contrast in it. Again, I've got the green and pink on the other side, which is very pretty. I'm not sure about that. I've got some more of this one. And it's the same on the other side. I think that finishes it off quite nicely. So I'm going to go with that and trim that about there, I reckon. Maybe not. I'll bring that down just a little bit. That's better, isn't it? Prefer that. Oh, do I want it on that side though? Let's see the butterflies a bit better. Do-de-do. Yeah, I think I'm going to go with that side. So I'm going to pop some glue down here, not all the way to the bottom because I want it poking out at the bottom there. But I also want it poking out at the top actually. Okay. I think that's how we're going to have that one, maybe. And then this last little one, I think can go. Oh, I didn't even notice that. Look at that green handle. Goes beautifully with that green on the design, doesn't it? You see, things happen for a reason. I'm a firm believer in that. And then that one can go on there. Cute. That's nice. So that's those ones done. I'm going to pop all these little bits that I've not used back into my box. And we're going to have a look now at maybe using some of these. Just wondering if I've got any colours that will actually go with any of that. So I've got a yellow, which will go with those three. I have got that, which I put back in previously, which will go with the blue and the yellows. What else have we got that can you... Oh, now that was kind of appropriate. And that one, like those. Might be able to make use of these ones. I might need to pull out my Fabri-Tac though, because the heart glitter glue doesn't like the glitter papers very much. Oh, that's a nice little yellowy bit there. And we've got a yellowy bit there. Oh, look at that. Yum, that's nice. And I'm going to pull in the green there as well. And then what else have we got? We've got that one there. Okay, I think that might be enough to start us with. Let's have a look and see what we're going to do on here then. I really want to use this. That's beautiful, isn't it? Again, don't want it quite as wide as that, so I'm going to trim that down a little bit. I'm going to actually halve it, and then I'll get even more out of that later on. So I'm going to trim that up there and pop that bit back in my box. And do I want about an inch? I think I'm going to go with about an inch. There we go. So that's the piece I'm going to use as my base. Or do I want to use that one as... No, I like that better. I'm going to use that one as my base. So that's going to be my base. I don't want to cover it too much because I think it's very pretty. So, oh, that's got the orange in as well, so that will bring in that one there. Lovely, very pretty. This one's going to be a nice one to do. Yeah, I'm going to start with that one under there. I'm going to cut that about there. And again, without making too much of it, this is another really nice reason why sorting your scraps out is a really good idea, because these embellishments have been in my drawer for longer than I care to remember, if I'm completely honest. Whereas now I can see exactly what I've got and I can marry things up really easily, which is lovely. That's that one. That one I am going to pop down the middle there, but I will trim it up. I just want to take that little bit off on the end there because it hasn't got any colour to it. And I'm going to throw that piece away. I'll probably regret it at some point and think, oh, I could have used that. So that piece I am going to put there, I think. That's very nice. Maybe don't want it quite as long as that, so I'm going to trim that just a tad there. Okay, and now we're going to glue down here. I've just left a little bit at the top and bottom because I'm not quite sure at the moment how far up or down I want them. So that's going to come down about there. Now then, I have used the art glitter glue and I'm just hoping that's going to adhere to it okay. That's nice. So that's that one. And then we've got this one here. That adds a nice contrast, doesn't it? That's very nice. Yes. Wonder. Maybe about there. Yep. Okie dokie. Oh, this is actually quite a shiny, I think this was a postcard actually. And again, this was from when I did the Asian Splendor. I think I cut this off of one of the postcards I used. I'm going to pop that there. That's that one. That's beautiful, isn't it? Like that. And then we've got the green, but I've also got this yellow. Yellow. And I might just, yeah, that's nice. Just going to finish that off with a hint of yellow. Just on there like that. That's lovely. Very pleased with that. Oh, you've done it again. I've put it on the wrong side. I don't want it on that side. I want it on this side. Pop that there, and then I want that just about there. I want it just above that little yellow piece at the bottom. Oop, got the wiggly woggles. Just bring it down just slightly. There we go. There. Oh, that's lovely. I think that's really pretty. And now I'm going to take these out of here. I've got there's a couple of little buttons come off, one on the orange one, and I actually want to use this orange one because I think that just looks stunning. Oops, I'm chucking everything away. I'm going to pop that back on there. Oh, we would do if it wasn't sticking itself to me. Pop that back on there. Like so. Just going to pop a little bit of glue on there. And now I want that about oh, do I want it centrally or do I want it? No, I think I'm going to pop that there. Oh, let me get some art glitter glue. That might take better with art glitter glue. This isn't art glitter glue. I'm talking rubbish, it's Fabri-Tac. Just put a splodge of Fabri-Tac in there. Pop that on there, and that should take quite quickly now. There we go. How lovely is that? And you could actually use that one either which way. So it could go that way, or it could go that way. So I'm not even going to put a word on this until I've decided what I'm using it in, and then I can put the words on as I want to, and whatever's relevant for the particular project I use it for. So that's that one done. Beautiful. Okay, I think we'll do one more, and then I think we'll call it a day. So what do we want to do now? So I've still got some of this, which is beautiful. I've got this one that will work with it. I could do a smaller one and use that pretty little green one there. And if I use that green one, I can make use of that. And I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make this one a much smaller one. I'm going to cut that there. I'm going to just trim this up a little bit here. Like so. Didn't do a great job of trimming that up, but do you know what? It doesn't matter. So I want to use those because I'm definitely going with this green. So let's find something else that will go with that rather nicely. As if by magic. There we go. Some lovely greens. That's got green in it. That's quite a pretty little green effect. It just makes it so much easier once you're organised. Oh, that's kind of cute as well. That's nice. And actually that's double-sided, so I could go with either or on that one. Oh, that's nice. Maybe not quite the right green, but we'll worry about that. There's another little green. And there's another little green. Ah, fab. That could look quite nice. And we've got this one, which is a big one. Or we've got, actually, I've got this one which is thinner, and that's a nice little thin strip there. So let's have a look and see what we can do with these. So I wanted to use that for my base, and I only want to do this as a small one because that's just a little one. So what are we using? Let's have a look. I'm going to go that way up and use that on there to incorporate more of the greens. Just going to trim that little odd shaped bit there because we don't need that in our lives right now. Expel that. And then I'm going to cut that about there. So that's nice, we like it. So I'm going to pop that along there. Going to scooch that over there, so that's that one done. I'm just going to clean, as Gail Agstonelli would say, the goober off of me glue. There we go, so that's that one. And then I haven't got an exact green match, but it doesn't really matter too much. Where was that thin piece there? I do want to use that little thin piece, I think, down there. I'm going to put the purple bits on top. I'm going to scooch that down there. Pop that across there. Maybe just a little bit too long, to be fair. Can I pull that down before it sets? Yes. Good. Okay. Just want to take a little bit off there. I just felt that's just a little bit too long. That's nice. And what else should we use? That's quite nice. Yeah, that is quite nice actually. I like that on there. So we're going to go with that. And because it's about the same size, I'm going to glue all the way up and down, which will hold it all in place very nicely. And that one's going to go just about there. Just straighten that up a little bit. There we go. Is that too straight, do we think? I think it probably is. And so I might go with could. I don't know. I'm falling out of love with it at the moment. What have I done? Maybe we want a bit of contrast in. I don't know. I'm struggling with this one. Why am I struggling with it? I think it's because I've made this the same length. I think that's probably what it is. So I'm going to pop that one on there. Maybe I'm just overthinking, which is always a danger. And then we're going to pop this one, I'm going to put the darker of the two greens on the outside. Pop that down there. Right then, and then I'm going to take my little doofer, I don't know what you call these, it's a doofer, little doofer now. And where do we want to place it? Do we want it up there? If I put it there, it can be used any which way, can't it? I don't really want it central. I'm going to go there. Going to pop a little bit of glue on there. And I'm going to pop that down there. Tut, ta da tut, tut, ta. And now that again, that can be used that way or that way, dependent on what I'm using it in. So that's nice. Okay, I think that's it. I think we'll call it a day for there. What have I done with the top of my glue? It's there. Oh, come on, pop it in. There we go. Let me just tuck that out of the way. And let me show you what we've done. Let me just get my little scrappy bits. Pop them back in my box. Get in the box. You get in the box. Throw all the bits on the floor. Pick them up. Right then, let's show you what we've been up to. So, we have done this one. Very pretty. Love this one. I think that one's gorgeous. And then we've got this cute little one here with a little bag on. And we've got this cute little one with the bag on. Very lovely. And then we've got this one, which will be a nice side tuck. And we've got this one with the bicycle, which I'm not quite sure what we're going to be using that in, but that's cute too. And then there was the other ones that I made just to show you what I was going to get up to today, which is this one and this one and this one and this one. So all I need to do now is either find relevant wordings for these ones or just leave them for now, and I can always put the words on once I know what project I'm going to be using them in. But aren't they fabulous? They're really pretty, and that's just all out of scraps. So scraps and stash busting, I hasten to add. So I've pulled some stuff out of my drawers that have been in there for literally years, and I've used some scraps up as well. So I would call that really successful. So thank you very much for your time today.